I think it's fairly obvious now that Nicola Sturgeon clearly did not resign as SNP leader for the reasons which she stated. And the real reason is why there are a couple of coppers currently digging up her garden and ransacking her house and the bin outside because they're looking for evidence of the missing £600,000 in party finances. Now, that money was raised for the purpose of yet another independence referendum campaign, which didn't happen and won't happen. So where's it gone? I'm going to suggest that Nicola Sturgeon knows quite well where it's gone, and she knew her husband, Peter Murrell, would get arrested for it. And it's weird they don't share the same surname, don't you think? So anyway, the cops turned up on Wednesday morning around 7:30. Now, 7:10, allegedly, according to witnesses, she was seen getting into a car and whisked off, all in a hurry. So they knew this was going to happen. Now, can you imagine all this happening while she was SNP leader? I think the rat jumped off the ship before she sunk it. And it's sinking anyway, especially with Hamza Useless running the party into the ground. Apparently now they're trying to make it racist if you call him Hamza Useless up there, which it isn't, by the way. The guy is useless. Every post he held under Nicola Sturgeon, whatever minister he was, that department went to fuck. It really did. It was him who brought in the hate speech laws, which effectively curtails anyone's free speech in Scotland. And under him, the NHS was on its knees, and it still is. The Scottish NHS is good for nothing, no good for man or beast. And it's their responsibility because under the devolution deal, the Scottish government run the NHS, unlike in England, where the NHS runs the NHS and we have a minister for it. But the buck stops with the SNP or whoever the government is up there. And now it stops again with Hamza Useless. So I am glad to report, I believe we are seeing the implosion of the Scottish National Party. It has been a cancer on the face of Scotland for many years now. It is a political party, it is a cult which has ran on a ticket of hatred and division, especially the hatred of the English or the British as a whole, which it blames for absolutely everything. It wants independence for Scotland, while ironically wanting to be a member of the EU, which means not really independence, does it? If you're a member of the EU, you bloody well do what Brussels says, and if you don't, there are financial consequences, big time. So this romanticised idea by the Scots, even the Welsh, of independence is just that. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. Now, back to Nicola Sturgeon's husband, Peter Burrell. He was like the party treasurer, I believe. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But he was in charge of this money and the police have let him go. However, there's still a police presence in her house, or their house. They're still digging the garden. There's a massive blue tarpaulin tent pitched up there. And it's like a scene from Fred and Rose West's house when all that was happening in Gloucester. I mean, it does look like they're digging for bodies, doesn't it? I'm not saying they are. I'm not trying to speculate, but, if you're going to a house and you want to take away computers and paperwork, you do that, which they did at the SNP offices. There weren't any tents or anything outside their grounds, but there is a tent, and they are digging the garden and going through the bins in Nicola Sturgeon and Peter Murrell's house. Explain that one. Did they bury the money like pirates? I mean, the whole thing is just, it's fishy. It really is fishy. I don't think we're being told the truth about this because the mainstream media in Scotland is very biased and very protective of Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP. They do as they're told, and they toe the party line. They print what the party says. So this is really not very good when it comes to the truth and transparency, because you don't get it in countries that are run by socialist governments, do you? But it would be interesting to see what happened. But the truth being, she quit because she was made to look like an absolute idiot because of a ridiculous trans interview where she couldn't determine what a woman was and tied herself up in knots, which was glorious to see. I mean, the writing was on the wall anyway, wasn't it then? And she knew that her husband was soon going to be in the SHIT. And to hold her up as some paragon of virtue up there is just wrong, isn't it? The woman is corrupt, her husband is corrupt, the party is corrupt, Hamza Useless is corrupt, and hopefully now, especially with the rapid, steep decline in SNP party membership, which again they tried to keep quiet, I think this is the end of the SNP, and I hope it is as well for the people of Scotland, because they deserve better. I mean, if you're going to be a party that advocates for independence, then advocate for independence. Don't try and join the EU. Try and make it out into the world by yourselves, like you promised, and don't lie to the people. But the Scottish people were never going to get truth and honesty and transparency from Nicola Sturgeon, Ouija McCranky, the SNP, and now Hamza Useless, are they? So there we go. Watch this space. Imagine if they did dig up a body. They'd be finished, wouldn't they? There and then. I hope they do, yet I hope they don't, if you know what I mean. How weird. Anyway, that's my video. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and until the next time, have a great day, look after yourselves, and Roger Trout.